This is our semi-regular, the best thing we watched this week. I'm Chris with Movies and Munchies, and with me is Ruben from the Ruby Tuesday. We are going to just talk about, like the title says, the best thing we watched this week, and hopefully maybe some things to come. So, all right, Ruben, without further ado, top of your list.
Okay, we were just talking about a Monster Hunter Legend of the Guild is an animated anime movie that's less than an hour, so it won't take much of your time. Recently, we had the live-action Monster Hunter film come out with a certain lady that has seen all of the Resident Evil films, and her husband has directed most of those films, so there's a how did I get this job sort of thing. And then her husband directs this one, and she's in this again, so we're understanding now, part and parcel. Unfortunately for the fans, that film was dire. It was just horrendous. It had nothing to do really with Monster Hunter or the Monster Hunter lore. So we were, if you're a fan of the Monster Hunter games, especially World, which I'm a fan of, I've spent too many hours in that world. This one is for sure just I guess it's a love letter to the fans. So it's only an hour, but this anime is, I feel like whoever made this film, the creators, the producers, looked at the live action and went, nope, we can't let that stand, and we're going to go make this. So it's basically this young kid who wants to be a hunter. There's a big elder dragon that's going to wipe out their village. Every 10 years or so, there's an elder dragon that they basically transform the planet by destroying it. It's like they bring lava, and after that comes like if you were terraforming but with a live entity. I guess that's the best way to describe it. But they're happening too quick now, so they have got to protect their villages, and this is where the Hunters Guild comes in. So this kid gets kind of roped into being under the wing of a very prestigious hunter, and they are along the adventure trying to figure out how to hunt these monsters, but also deter the Elder Dragon from destroying everything in its path. That's really the whole kind of main story. But it's the little things that you get inside the anime that reminds all the players, like, oh yeah, this is how he's using his weapons, the certain potions, the upgrades, the little weird side characters that you get that like hark back to some of the original games. There's a character called a Pico that in Monster Hunter World doesn't actually talk, but this one it does, because some of the versions of the Pico can talk. It's a cat sort of sidekick, and so there's little things that they've just combined to really kind of allow your fan base to really kind of sink their teeth in, although the pacing is ridiculously fast. That's why it's just under an hour, and just there's so much that happens. It feels like a pilot episode to a TV series. And I feel like if you are not a fan of Monster Hunter, you're going to come out of going, what was that? That was like, boom, just done. But if you're a fan, a lot of fun.
What kind of animation style is it?
It's weird. It's like 3D, 2D, a mix of, doesn't feel like it's high budget, but it's enough to get you by into the animated big sequences. It's like they save their budget for the big Elder Dragon or the fighting sequences, which is fun. But in between that, if you look at the background characters, you won't see other characters' faces move. Like anime does sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like the main character will move in their mouth, but the background isn't really moving because where they're saving their budget. It's that sort of thing. So it's okay. It's pretty vibrant in color, which you need. Fun.
Right on. And that's on Netflix?
That's on Netflix at the moment. Yeah, it was one of their exclusive anime things. So they obviously made a deal. And yeah, so now we've been able to wash out our mouth from the nonsense that was the live action version and just go, okay, there's something half decent. So like this film would be a 5 out of 10, but the live action would be 1. So it's definitely a step up in the right direction.
Right on.
Have you ever had any? I was going to say, have you ever had any, or do you know of Monster Hunter?
I knew that the movie had come out. I didn't get a chance to see it. And I didn't even know about this anime. So that's, I think I'll probably give it a watch, especially knowing that it's super short.
Yeah.
Do you think I need to know enough about just the world and everything?
At the rate they rush through it, I think you'll pick up the story and understand what's going on.
Okay.
It would be a good launching pad for those that haven't played the game, actually, because it ends on a place where you kind of want to go, oh yeah, I'd love to play that, and go into it from that afterwards. So, yeah.
Right on. Do you think they're going to do any like future episodes to this or future movies? Did you get that sense, or is it kind of this is a one
It
and
definitely
done?
felt like an episode. Maybe they're testing the waters, because sometimes Netflix do this thing where they give a really short series, like what, 6 episodes or even shorter than that. I think Castlevania's first season was 4 episodes, and then it obviously it got some traction. People liked it. If there's enough traction, you can probably get a sequel for anything. So who knows?
And sometimes when there's no traction, they still do sequels, and then when everything is super popular, they cancel the series. So complete crapshoot.
Yeah, who knows? So enough of my rambling about Monster Hunter. What's on your top of your list this week?
Top of my list was Free Guy. Ryan Reynolds, Jodie Comer. I saw it early in the week at a screening, and I actually went with my son last night to the theater again to watch it. And I had just as much fun the second time go round. I think, okay, spoiler warning, if you haven't seen it, we'll give you this, because we do want to dive in a little bit, I think, to just some of the cameos that were in there and some of the other little plot points. So there you go. Okay. The cameos first, the second viewing really allowed me to hone in on more of the cameos, especially the voice ones. I don't know if you had caught it when you saw it, but I saw, or I heard Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's voice, John Krasinski's voice, only on the second go round. Both of the first times I didn't get it. I did get Hugh Jackman at the beginning, when he's in the alleyway. He's the one that shows her the map at the very beginning. But I think the whole world building, I think that the thing that I really loved about this is that it felt familiar and fresh all at the same time. That, we had a little bit of The Truman Show or Groundhog Day, where you get him waking up each day, repeating it. But they didn't linger there. And that's what I thought that was probably the best thing, because, we've seen that before. So don't show us that part, and just dive into it. And then Jodie Comer stole it for me. Every time she was on the screen, she grabbed hold of me. And, from, I don't know, each bit of it, I think all of the little interactions, you get Ryan Reynolds, who gets to be himself. He's just those sarcastic, snarky, well-timed deliveries, even that like under the breath type of, just commentary that is super funny. So I don't know. You got to see it too? You went to actually the UK premiere.
Yeah, I was a bit underdressed. I had no idea it was actually the UK premiere. I was told it was just a press screening. Thanks, John. So Jodie Comer was there, and she did a little introduction, which was very cool. A little bit like, oh, she's right there. I should say something really inappropriate. That's my brain, like going, Amanda, don't say anything now. Don't say, hey, I loved you in Killing Eve. You were amazing. Thankfully I managed to keep my mouth shut. But yeah, IMAX is the way to see this. Oh my gosh. Massive screen in London, probably the biggest one I've ever seen. And the fantastic surround sound where you can really feel the action. That sort of surround sound where the chairs rumble.
Yeah.
And yeah, very cool. I was surprised at how much heart this film actually had. I was very surprised. I knew it was going to have Ryan Reynolds doing his thing, because he's so good at that. I knew the action was going to be good because we've seen the trailers. I will admit there's one part I didn't enjoy of the film, and I understood why they were doing it, but I don't think it worked out quite well. And see if you agree with me. They have a bunch of YouTubers inside the film. Dan TDM, a couple of the others I can't remember. Jacksepticeye, and I like all of them. I think they do fantastic work. For one, they're not actors, and so you can tell the difference in quality. I think they were fine, but I noticed. But this whole film is a fantasy film. It's escapism at its core, and then trying to establish it in our world, making it real. It just didn't quite mesh with me, those moments. It's a little nitpick, but I was like, yeah, you're in my world now. You're trying to say that this is happening in my world. Like, I don't know. Okay, That's the thing. I don't know. That's where my brain went with it. So I was like, okay, brain, fine. We'll let you have that. Apart from that, Ryan Reynolds and Jodie together were great because he does his funny thing. But I actually bought their relationship. I thought it was good. I was rooting for him to get together with her. But then when it twists, and you're thinking, oh, but this whole character is designed around this guy that's been pining over you for ages. It's like, that's great. That brings it back to making it really real. Because Ryan Reynolds is, that character is unattainable almost. The perfect guy with muscles when he upgrades, and, he can do everything, is so cool. And that's what you can imagine a programmer would program himself to be. And then, trying to get the girl, but there's the girl that he can never get. I really like that bit. I thought when they brought it round, because the jokes for me 90% of the time hit. There were a couple that I just thought, okay, cool, that's fine. Yeah. But when they brought it round, they made it much more heartfelt than I was expecting. I was like, yeah, way to go. The fact that it's an original IP, I heard him talk about it in an interview. He's very proud of it because in the world of sequels and prequels and Marvel and Star Wars, it's very rare to get an original IP like this, and then kind of stick the landing as well, with a big budget that someone's willing to, this is, I think it was back in the day when 20th Century Fox was still a thing, just one of the last 20th Century Fox, so they were obviously going big with this one. I think it worked. I think it was really good.
Yeah, it did. And it's funny that you mentioned the like the sequels and stuff, because there's a point in there where Taika Waititi is specifically talking about, no, sequels is where it's at. We don't need to create something new. It's just, this is, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of these that we're going to do. And so I didn't realize that that interview, was it with Sean Levy? Is that who?
No, it was on BBC Radio 1 that had,
Okay, but it was with the director, I mean?
Oh, no, that was Ryan, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Ryan. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, it was... now knowing some of that background, it makes those points that he says, I guess, even more funny or even more pointed, both of those. I loved, I had so much fun with it, that first off, but then things that I noticed, going the second time around, like glitches. I don't know if you got to see any glitches in the game, or you see like little, it's always in the background, and it was all these just, minor type of things. Like one is probably a noob character who's running into a wall, like trying to...
I didn't see that.
Oh my gosh. I think it's when Ryan Reynolds is getting, he's at the ATM. I think that's when it is. In the background, across the street, is this dude who's just like, and he's trying to jump, and he just keeps hitting the wall, and then he gets like stuck in the wall and is shaking. Like,
amazing.
It's just, and then there's one, I think some dude stuck on a flagpole, and towards the end, like there's a car upside down stuck on top of another car as it's just driving along. These little things, these little details that they put in there, to just make it a whole lot of fun. And I think give it a little bit of that realism, because, I would be a noob at playing most of these things. I don't game very often. I have gaming systems, but I don't. It's a very, very casual thing for me, and I don't do any of the multiplayer, the online, those types of big games like that. My youngest does, and he plays with a lot of friends and stuff like that. So he took a different appreciation for it, because it spoke to him in a different way. But one thing that we both agreed on in my screening, people, like, they cheered, and a couple weeks ago you had mentioned how Space Jam was like this IP throw up of just everything that Warner Brothers had, that they're just we're going to put all of these in there. I thought, when Disney bought Fox, that the inclusion of Captain America's shield and the Avengers music, and then Hulk's hand, and then the iconic is that his lightsaber, and then the Star Wars music, that is how you use IP correctly and effectively. Because it was it was showy, but it was brief, and it was totally effective, and it made just the right amount of resonance with the fans, and we're like, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was so good. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I love that bit.
yeah, it was. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but
So you said, what's her name? The stole Killing Eve actress.
Jodie Comer.
Jodie Comer stole the film for you. So I would agree, except for one scene where they're in the garage, and there's all these cars around, and Jodie's trying to get a certain thing, and then Ryan's there. He rescues. He bashes through the wall
With the motorcycle.
And he comes in, Yeah, and Channing Tatum. That's Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
I have to say, for me, that was the movie. That was the moment I knew that I loved this movie, because it's possibly the best I've ever seen from Channing, just because he nailed the geekiness. From manly, I have everything, look at my man cave, to just pure joy as, you do? Can you sign it? Can you do? I was just like, that's exactly how it is. And he nailed it. And then he doing those dance. Oh my gosh, I think I was crying. Yeah.
I
So
totally agree. That was that scene. I mean, we walked out. My son and I walked out talking about that scene because it was just, it was so funny, and he threw like all shame out the window and just went 150% for it, and it was so good. And the fact that they then intersperse that this is really just an avatar, that there's a live person on the other
because
side.
we go to the person who is that brilliant actor,
just so
what's his name?
deadpan. Yeah, I can't remember his name.
It's from that film Revolt something. Yeah, but just indie gold comedy. He does this dryness, and the fact that it was him, genius.
Yeah, so good, so good. And I think the only Deadpool reference or even imagery was on his back wall on a movie poster.
Poster.
And they good restraint on them for keeping such a massive Ryan Reynolds project out of this.
I'm sure Ryan wanted to put it in. It's just pitch up in his costume, because some of the marketing, I don't know if you've seen some of the marketing, which has been genius, but yeah, and in one of the posters he has his costume on as Free Guy, which is brilliant.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, they had my son was telling me they had like a bunch of retro posters that they had recreated for this. So I think there was one with
GTA was one.
Oh, okay, yeah, Super Mario also.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a lot of fun. I think this is one of those that I am so glad that I had the opportunity to see it in the theater, because of just the spectacle, to take all of it in. Now, I didn't get to see it in IMAX, but still, just having everything go on around you. This is like truly one of the great summertime movies.
It's a blockbuster popcorn film.
Exactly.
It feels like, that meme that goes around, like, cinema's back. That's where I felt like, my escapism. People mention that cinema's like their church. That's the type of film I can imagine them talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this one is. This is with, it's that summer popcorn blockbuster with a lot of heart to it. Also, like one that actually sticks with you somewhat. To be like, oh, I really enjoyed that. I want to see it again. It wasn't just the experience, and then once I leave, I'm done. And the movie didn't stick with me. This one is like, ooh, that was awesome. So
yeah, really good.
What else is on your list?
Okay, so we both reviewed this, I believe. Netflix dropped a few series this week, as they do, and we've got to pick and choose which one. I went off your recommendation because you reminded me last week. You was like, there's this really weird series, and I was like, it's cherry, what's it called?
Brand new cherry flavor?
Brand new cherry flavor. Okay, let's dive into yeah. It's like, okay, right off the bat, I loved it. Like, this was my cup of tea, man. I was like, give me more of this. This is, in my review, I said, we have so many TV series that are fighting for our time. And a lot of them are standard, not really pushing the boundaries of any creativity, but we will still enjoy them because they have, some decent acting, good drama, a lot of YA stuff. None of that is bad. But the stuff I'm looking for these days that's really going to fight for my time is this sort of stuff, because it's out there. It's so creative. It's so evocative in your mind, so it gets you thinking. If you took Cronenberg and David Lynch, and they had a baby, and they were on drugs at the same time, on acid. This is the series that I think. What did you think? Let's hear your thoughts.
I liked it less than you did, but I think I liked it less because of the ending. Okay. That to me changed my view of the whole thing.
I've heard a few people say that, actually.
Yeah, this was one of the most visceral shows or experiences that I've seen in quite a while. Again, I think, spoiler warning, this did just come out. I'm not going to get, I don't want to get too much into the plot too much, but just some of the little things, like the vomiting up of kittens was
so good.
It was, and it was like, wow. The first time it happened, you're like, what the crap is going on?
What on earth? Yeah.
Yeah. And then once you know it's coming, it's like, oh gosh, and then when she said, I'm done throwing up kittens. Okay.
Yeah.
You know that something is going to go, which leads into the most bizarre, uncomfortable, and fairly gross sex scene that I have.
Yeah, it's up there.
It is. It's like one of those, like,
it's way up there.
Especially because it's not what you think. Oh gosh.
When she's got the mucus and she's just, and I'm like, and then later on he's like, I'm like,
yeah,
I'm uncomfortable. I'm changing seat position.
Yeah, it was just, oh gosh, and the whole show was kind of that way, that they would introduce ideas and concepts that are highly creative. And very disturbing and dark. And I appreciated all of that. I loved what they were doing with the story. I loved the journey that they were taking us on, because you watch Rosa Salazar and Catherine Keener and that messed up dysfunctional relationship back and forth where they almost need each other. Well, they do need each other, really, as it
becomes like a symbiosis. Yeah.
Yeah, and just that weird dependency. And I was blown away by the visuals of it, the darkness of it. Honestly, though, as much as I liked Rosa Salazar, I thought she did a phenomenal job in this. I really liked Catherine Keener, just the weirdness. But then
she was the show stealer.
Yeah, but Eric Lang to me was like this. He's like this background character who all of a sudden became a leading man. And he just, every time he was on there, like, I hated him, and yet I loved him at the same time. And the fact that they were able to take such a terrible person and then give him this segment of a storyline where you feel sorry for him, that with his son, that you're like, oh, that sucks, and really, okay, you are a bad guy and you shouldn't do these things. But
did you deserve your son to become a zombie? Yeah.
Exactly.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really interesting. It reminds me a lot of American Horror Story as well. Some of the visualization that they do, like especially her trapdoor with the couch on the bottom, and then the freaky creature that is her mother, I guess. Yeah. All very visual, but the ending. I can see why people are upset with it, because it's almost a cliffhanger. It doesn't really resolve. It's like ish. Because I did a kind of ending explain, sort of guessing where it would go, but because it's a limited series and it's based on one book, it's like, will they ever do it? That kind of sucks. It's kind of the story we want to know next. Because she said she was going back home. Her mum said, come find me. She walks into this misty Brazil place, I guess, and that's her done. And then we see, as we thought, Catherine Keener is going to jump body into that girl that's besotted with her, the eye lady. And you were like, well, okay, she's got a new skin. We know now that people that wake up don't remember what's happened to them, because they're like, who are you? And she's obviously not going to live for very long, and her family's got no memory of her, obviously. So dark. And then that's it. Like, you can't end there. Like, surely there's another episode.
Yeah, and that's what that's what turned me off a little bit, because you have all of this buildup of Rosa Salazar doing all of these terrible things, maybe not knowingly at first, necessarily, or what she was totally getting herself involved in, because, I mean, Catherine Keener's character obviously is pulling strings and manipulating her to do her own bidding, which we learn, later down there. But to have it kind of end, where, Rosa Salazar, okay, I'm off to see my mom, to find her, and Catherine Keener then just kind of continuing on. There was no, because I think Eric Lang, his character, I got the sense that he didn't die, did he? He just couldn't see anymore, because she walks out of him in the hospital room with the TV on.
Yeah, he says, "Please turn the TV off," and and they have that little tete-a-tete.
Yeah. So all of these terrible things have been done to people, and for nothing. At the very end of it, she just wanders off, and then we don't have any resolution to it. And I don't even mind, like, where there's like that open to interpretation type of ending, where you're like, oh, well, that's what this could have been. And this, I just felt like this one just kind of, they were like, well, we didn't give you an ending. So I don't know. I mean, I did see that Netflix had sent along like this big packet of production notes with there, and the series changed Catherine Keener's character. So if you've read the book, the character of Boro is apparently very different in the book than what we saw in the series. And so I'm curious at what, like, it almost makes me want to read. Then. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, I almost want to read the book. I'm not sure I want to read the book, because I just experienced this from a visual standpoint, and my brain, if I'm just reading the words, could actually create a more horrifying. Yeah.
I mean, she didn't even get her film. I mean, she had the opportunity to make it, but just left it. So the resolution was, I finally, for all the stuff I've gone through and all the stuff I've done, I can now get my film. But no, I'm going to leave it and just go back home to a mum I've never met, who's probably a demon spirit of some kind. Like, what? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is definitely an experience. And I think, if you're into weird, if you're into gross, just something brand new, this is something to really to give a watch to. That's what I
appreciated it. Yeah, it was creative. It was different.
Yeah,
reminded me of Dirk Gently. I don't know if you've ever watched those on Netflix.
I saw one. I don't think I saw more than one episode.
Oh my gosh,
that was with like Elijah
in my
Wood,
top
right?
10.
Okay,
yeah. It's like in my top 10 series of all time. Love it. But that's bonkers. It's weird.
Okay.
Not as visceral like this one, but it's sure is gory and weird, and there's a shark cat, so that should put it in perspective for you. Watch it, you'll love it.
Okay.
Ruben's top tip: Dirk Gently's Holistic Agency. Yeah.
Right on, because that's even that. I mean, tangent here, but that's Douglas Adams, right?
Yeah.
Okay, which. I enjoy the Hitchhiker series, so that's
yeah, exactly. it's that sort of humor. Yeah.
Right on. All right, so that well, I think we differ on the ending, maybe, or at least our appreciation over the overall. I mean, we both know that, hey, this is quite different. The series. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That one was on my list too. Of not necessarily like the best, but it's certainly the weirdest and worth
it's memorable. Talking about. Conversation starter for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. So, do you have anything else on your list that you watched this week?
I don't think so. It was a bit of a slow week. There was some stuff that I watched that I wouldn't put on like my favorite list. Beckett was interesting, and there's some other series I know that. Oh wait, there was one. You're watching it now. It's a Harlan Coben, no good.
Gone for Good.
Gone for Good. My gosh,
the French series.
Yeah, I mean, Harlan Coben has quite a dedicated fan base. So whenever anything posts, they're very quick off the mark to go, no, this is not like what it's in the books. And surprisingly, so far on this one, the comments have been really good. So I can only surmise that the adaptation to short story, because it's only 5 episodes, has been really good. And I've really enjoyed the acting from this. It does the classic thing where it dips in and out of past events to explain background stories, which is kind of like, okay, great, but I would like something new. Try something different. You want to go new? Go watch that series we just talked about. But the story itself was really intriguing and definitely kept me guessing. Like, I didn't see it coming. So, yeah.
Me too. Yeah, I agree. I think he's got a formula to his books, which is probably why they become so popular, is because everybody knows kind of this is the format. This is what I know to kind of expect. But I loved, that I was guessing the whole way through, and I love being wrong too, because then it makes it so much more enjoyable there.
Yeah, it's much more fun. Yeah,
right on.
Definitely worth it if you like Harlan Coben stuff, or like the mystery that's going to keep you guessing, the puzzle piece that you have to figure out as it gives you a little bit as the episodes go. I think you'll enjoy this.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. My review will be coming out soon for it, because it was enjoyable, definitely.
Nice. You got anything else, or anything else you're looking forward to this week?
This week, I have two. One is a horror. I mean, they're drastically different. A horror called The Night House that's coming out in theaters. At least it's coming out in the U.S. I don't know if it's coming out.
I haven't heard of it, but
overseas.
That doesn't mean anything.
Okay. Well, it's I saw one trailer weeks and weeks ago, so I don't even really remember the premise, which I actually kind of am glad for. But it's Rebecca Hall, and it's maybe haunted house, weird, supernatural. I don't really know. Don't quote me on that. Somebody going looking up on IMDb. No, you're totally wrong. Okay, it is a horror.
It's a comedy.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm looking forward to that one, and then coming to Netflix at the end of the week is The Chair with Sandra Oh, and that is a comedy. And so it's one, like, I saw the teaser trailer for, which made me laugh out loud, because I think it was silent. Like, she walks in, she sees her name, she's like the head of an English department or something at a university, sees her name on there, she walks in, sits behind the desk, leans on her chair, and then all of a sudden, and the chair collapses and falls, and I was like, oh, okay, this might be funny. So
yeah, it's funny it's really dry and dramatic, and has a deep, dark kind of story. It's quite sad in places, but it is funny, as in, if you've ever seen Sandra Oh in anything, she has that timing that she can deliver a line of dialogue that it isn't a joke, but you'll laugh. It's like life affirming or realistic laughter. Like, you can appreciate the pain that they're going through and laugh that way. So it reminded me a lot of things like The West Wing. Very well written. The dialogue is really sharp, and it doesn't outstay its welcome, because it's got like 6 episodes, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see what you think of this one. Definitely worth checking out, at least for Sandra Oh.
Nice. Okay. Well, good. Well, that helps me. That has me more positive to to watch. So right on. Do you have anything that's on your list for this coming week?
There are a number of streaming things that I'm still trying to finish. I still haven't yet to finish the Apple TV series, Mr. Corman.
The Joseph Gordon-Levitt one, right?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt one, yeah. Still struggling my way through it, so I don't know if I'm going to finish it. So that gives you an idea of how much I'm invested so far. I'm not. There are a number of TV series we're watching. Like, I don't know if you have guilty pleasures that you kind of watch. They're not brilliant, but they're really fun. I'm watching The Rookie with my wife at the moment. That's got Nathan Fillion in as a rookie cop. It's on its 3rd season, and it's just so much fun. If you like Nathan Fillion, we've been following him ever since Firefly, before Buffy, even. I think he was the priest in Buffy. And then obviously everybody got sad because Firefly got cancelled. Not that I'm still bitter about that. And then he did 8 seasons of Castle, and I think we managed to watch most of those until they didn't like each other anymore or something. The actual actors, there was like some sort of stuff going on. And now this one is it's your typical cop series where the underdog, he's this character that is 45 years old and he's just learning to become a cop. His business has folded and he's in with all these youngsters and he's got to find his way into becoming a rookie, basically. And he goes through a lot and sees more action than most rookies would in his first year. And yeah, we were hooked from like episode 1. We're like, yeah, this is our type of soap. Yeah, this is our soap. Cop drama.
Are they hour-long episodes or 30-minute?
Yeah, they're about the standard TV 45.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very easy to get through. Binge-worthy for sure.
Right on. I'll have to look for
Anything
that.
else you're...
I have 2 that they're coming out this week in the U.S. in the theaters. I'm The Protege and Reminiscence. And for me, The Protege gave the entire movie in the trailer. And so
it is one of those, yeah.
Yeah, it's Maggie Q, Samuel L. Jackson, and Michael Keaton. And
I mean, it's a great cast.
And the premise sounds fairly okay. But when they showed what they did in the trailer, which, I mean, I kind of understand, but I didn't need to know that going in. It would have... Anyway, I was watching the trailer, which I saw it, I got a couple of months ago, which gives... I mean, it stuck with me. That it made me not want to see the movie because I already know a major plot point for it. And so then what else are you going to show me? How is this going to become new? So that was a bummer. And Reminiscence, I just haven't seen much from it. I don't know if that's like lack
Marketing
of
hasn't
studio
been big here either. Yeah.
So it's Hugh Jackman, and the premise. I don't know. I mean, there's sci-fi to it, which could be cool. It has something to do with remembering and memories, or maybe it's almost like a neo-noir. I think at points, but again, with that, I shouldn't let it affect me too much. At least my excitement going in, but the lack of marketing that I see for it has me just a tiny bit like.
It makes you wonder if they got faith in the film for sure.
Yeah, and that's really what it is. I mean, it could be a great movie and end up like just what the studio decided to push their money behind something else, or who knows, but. So anyway, those are both coming out this week. Depending on schedule, I'll be able to see them, or it'll have to wait. I don't know. We'll see. But
so. Well, I guess we'll catch up next week and see if that lived up to your expectations, or not so much.
Or not
is the case. Okay. Should we catch up next week then, and then see what's happened? We'll try and give the rundown.
I think so, yeah.
Hopefully. Well, if you're watching still, thank you very much. You've lasted way longer than I would have had. I probably would have fallen asleep. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure it'll be very entertaining. But do let us know in the do let us know in the comments below what has been your favorite thing. Did we miss something out that you would like us to talk about? Because we can do that totally. Just let us know in the comments if you saw something that was so terrible that we should talk about, or so great that we're like, how did you guys not watch this? We can totally do that. Another thing, talking about trailers that reveal everything. What is the worst trailer that you've seen that just ruined films for you? Well, not films in general, but that film. I remember watching the Amazing Spider-Man trailer, and in that trailer they had the Rhino fighting Spider-Man, and that is literally the last scene of the film, and it's like 6 seconds long. And I've never forgiven them for that still, because whoever made that trailer needed a big slap on their wrist.
I do remember that, because it's like, what, you go through the whole movie and you're like, when is this coming? When is this coming?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh. I would have to go back through a lot of trailers to figure out which ones are like, oh, this, seriously, you showed me all this. Oh.
Yeah. Sometimes you can just tell the trailers go, oh, it's a 3-minute trailer, so that should give you an inkling. Yeah, it's too long. Should be 2 minutes max, I think. And then you're like, oh, so now I know who died, when, and where. I got time points, and that character is obviously not going to be alive. And you've just got that showcasing of that character on your poster because you're trying to sell the film that way. And it just ruins it. You're like, oh, yeah. Anyway, chat to us in the comments. We got Chris from Movies and Munchies, Ruben. I'm talking about myself in the third person from the Ruby Tuesday. We'll leave our details in the comments below. Do chat to us in the comments. We do love to communicate with our wonderful, wonderful audience. And that's it. Toodles.